Look, we're back. It's game number 3 on a silver platter. Chiefs, they have the super team. Gravitas, they have a team, a very big team, and they haven't had a lot of success yet. I'm not sure if this is going to be the game where they find it, so there already seems to be this gap on paper, but maybe there's some believers out there.
You reckon?
Yes.
There might be.
Maybe.
This game, though, to be a believer requires a lot of belief, Mac. Just because, like, on paper, this is the 99 to 1%. So those 1%ers have got some strong belief, Mac.
Yeah, and they've probably watched Shrek before as well, because I definitely am a believer. Maybe, you'll see. Either way, let's start talking shop. Of course, we'll talk Chiefs first. Chiefs, they've got this team that has been doing extremely well so far. A couple of hiccups here and there, but everything we've seen from them, oh my, they are looking like the contender for Split 1, Rusty.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we came into the split and said this is a super team. Pentanet.gg are nipping at their heels, and then we've got a battle for third. Yeah. And so far, I would say the Chiefs are the only team that have actively delivered. In saying that, the first game that we saw from them kind of gave us a sample size on where they might be shaky just very early on, and that's usually when you would, like, a touted super team would be beatable, right? Because they're brand new together. So they have some growing pains that they need to get through, and if you can exploit those growing pains, then you've got a shot. Order had their chance. Unfortunately, they got corkied, which happens to the best of us. If Corky gets to level 16, the game kind of just ends. And Tally was pretty clutch on that one. He's been very consistent overall, Mac, and that's the thing with this team, right? Topoon's a freak. He's so good. Arthur knows which side of the map to play towards. And then you've just got Mr. Consistent in AD and mid right now, just doing their bit.
Yeah, they are everywhere. Blink and you'll miss the action that they're going to be throwing on your screen, especially this game. Speaking of this game, there is 2 teams, of course. Let's talk Gravitas, though. So, Skimmy, if this team, who hasn't looked too terrible over the last couple of days, oh, bit of a roster change there as well.
Yeah, there is, right? It's the bot lane that has changed out. So Thomas Shen is out. Piglet returns, a player that played actually on this roster last year as well. And in Trust, he's going to be making his LCO debut today. So the bot lane is going to get to showcase what they can do as a pairing. No doubt with such an expansive roster, they can try and figure out what pieces of the puzzle work best together. Piglet and Thomas Shen sort of shared time of LCO last year was an interesting one. Thomas Shen took the majority of Split 2, whereas Piglet took the majority of Split 1. And they do have a bit of a different champion pool. So from what we really saw of Piglet, a lot of games in the likes of Sivir and Xayah, as well as the AP majors when needed, whereas Thomas Shen was much more of those current in-meta hyper carries. So I'm excited to see what they bring to the table. I have been a bit of a fan of Dejong, sort of his aggression in that mid lane to sort of say, I'm going to play champions that can look to try and pop off, have a fair bit of agency. But I think if we are going to do a slight little flame, I'm looking at Tyron to get a kill or an assist to get away from the 0.0 KDA, which is just unheard of, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that one's been pointed out a couple of times now. It's a rough stat. It's a very rough stat. Hopefully he can play for more than just stats, because they got to be looking for that W. Now, of course, the man you mentioned before, Tapoon, he is a machine. And let's have a look at the stats as well. Average KD. Third. This is an LCO, right? This is for LCO.
This would be
top
the league.
lane for LCO. Awesome. So,
top
so far, gold per minute coming first in that, second in KP, and then KDA third there as well. So, doing pretty good in terms of all the stats, and it's only been 2 games, Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fault what he's done so far, right? You think back to the first game, his KDA was actually pretty bad. He was like 0-8, I think was his final scoreline. Yeah. But he did so much work for the game that we gave him MVP. You look to the second game, and he actually won by 3 minutes and 30 seconds solo. So, like he gets his own graphic because he's just so good at League of Legends, you know?
That was when he went and stole blue buff, right?
Yes.
He ganked mid, stole the blue buff, walked back top, and held a freeze. It's like, the game's over. Like, it's so hard as a commentator to not look at that 3 minutes in and be like, next. Like, what do you do?
Well, gap starting. He's just going to win from here. Oh, well. Anyway, someone that always wins is Kitty, so let's bring her back to the conversation. And which other 2 winners do you have down on the side lane for the pregame?
So, people that also enjoy blue buff is Draku and Piglet. So, let's get into the interview. Hey guys, Draku, how excited are you with moving into the new house?
Well, we're not even moving to the new house yet, so delayed for 1 more week. But yeah, I'm really excited to finally see, especially Tally. and Coach Kuden. So yeah, it's gonna be a really fun split when we're all in the house together.
A good team bonding session, but I have to congratulate you for the 2-0. You are currently tied first place with Peace, but you both had a very strong start from week 1. What makes Chiefs the better 2-0 team?
I'm not gonna lie, I think Peace actually do look pretty good right now. Props to Romeo. Romeo seems like he's kind of smurfing. Guess NA was hyperbolic time chamber for him. But I wouldn't say, like, you know, like we're still just working on ourselves. So I guess we are probably better on paper, but they're actually playing pretty well. And our first week we kind of sucked. So
That's okay, there's always room for improvement. And Draku, you are playing alongside 4 players that have all competed at international events. Does that put any extra pressure on you trying to meet their expectation?
yeah, definitely. I think yeah, everyone on my team is really good, and they I guess they're all like super awesome IRL, and yeah, they're all kind of better than me. So definitely, if we lose this split, it's probably on me. So just know I'm trying extra hard, and yeah, I'll probably be better than them at the end of the split.
That's good to hear. Well, moving on to Piglet, it is your second year with Gravitas. Given that you are the most experienced player on the team, how do you plan on leading the rookies?
Well, to be honest, we did get quite a few like good shot callers as well this year. So, I mean, it's basically early mid game. I'm just sitting back, basically just playing ADC, farming, trying to get kills if I can. And I mean, mid to late game, if I am fed enough, I will start short calling to try to lead the team. But if I'm not needed, I'm not needed. So it's good.
It's nice to hear that you guys do have multiple shot callers, and you shared ADC with Thomas Shen for the majority of the time on Gravitas. What separates you as a player?
Well, not too much. I guess we're both still like good at the ADC role, so I mean, there's not much that is too different from us. I mean, there's a little bit of mechanics in certain champions, so it's normally just like depending on the meta, it's whoever's playing, I guess. The easiest way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, good luck on your first game back in the LCO, and well, good luck in your match, guys. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always good to check in with the boys again. Piglet, it's interesting to hear that, you know, he can do a bit of the shot calling, but I feel like that's one of those roles where you need it to have one of your consistent players in the team to be a shot caller. It's hard to come in, you know, when you're sharing those roles, sharing it with different people, to try to lead, especially when it's so different. You got to adapt going game to game. Not too sure about that one. Either way, let's start to talk predictions. So I think, are we going to have any surprises here, Rusty?
Oh, would expect not. If someone has a surprise that comes up in predictions, we're going to go to them first with a question on why. That is the first question. There's no follow-up question, because if you can answer that,
okay,
I'm on board.
Well, it's time.
Why?
Comeback mechanics.
Mac!
Tell me why.
Comeback
What about
mechanics.
the comeback mechanics?
I need to get back. I'm already losing. I've got to do something.
Oh,
and
no,
I'm
Mac.
bored of seeing the same team on the predictions. I know it's only been 2.5 days, but I decided now's the time. Now's the time to do it. And if it keeps going from bad to worse, then look, I'll just try to beat you all with my right column, my right number that's currently 2. I'll just try to make that like 5 times bigger than my left number. And
I know your strategy though, Mac. What did we discover last split? It was a case of I'm so far behind that if I get a victory, that's like plus 50 points, right? It caught up big time. So
yeah.
you're taking every big gamble in life and it's paying off for you.
And look, I feel like Piglet, I've just got this huge belief in him. He's coming in, he's got 2 big fists, he's going to be swinging them down in the bot lane, and there's a world where Gravitas win. But yes, Rusty, I am aware it is 1%. So I'm not trying to justify anything at all, I just need something. And I need a bit of variety in my life in the predictions, and it all starts now. So nothing changing there. Anyway, I feel like you 3 don't need to justify your decisions, but Kitty, do you want to tell me where Chiefs are going to be gapping Gravitas today?
Well, Mac, you are holding on to that sweet copium because there's no way Gravitas is going to win the Chiefs in week 2. Obviously, Chiefs, they've had a really good week 1. They're just going to keep stomping on people until maybe the later weeks, but not today.
Okay, and look, towards the top lane, of course, we need a few more stats there. What champs are we looking towards for him to get something on the board? What's this?
I just realized Tyron doesn't have a single kill participation, but he gets Topoon.
Oh no.
And it's like, oh, it could continue. He has 0 kill involvement, but he's against the best top laner in the league. Maybe the best player in the league today, so...
Topoon is like the gold standard. Like, he just sets the level. He sets the lingo of, like, can you be un-Topoon gap? I mean, like, it's just crazy. I mean, I don't see a world in which anything too wild happens for Tyron up there. I think it's another speed
run. Got to play Vayne
like,
top, right? Like, there's no choice.
Maybe you're stealing red buffs this time. Maybe Topoon's just having fun. He's doing it all.
Maybe that just happens, but look, at least he has one top lane believer. At least Topoon has one anti-fan. It's me today. I'm going to be on the sidelines, obviously not casting because that's not my job, but I will be cheering in Twitch chat with everyone, and I'm going to be jumping into Twitch chat right now because I heard the game is ready to go. Let's see how far this one goes. It's game number 3.
Fantastic. All right. Well, it's been a quick day so far, hasn't it, Rusty? Let's see if the trend continues, as the games that we thought could have been close weren't necessarily the case, but will this one be any different? Right out the gates, there is one big difference. There is a Twisted Fate.
It got let through. So,
yes.
you know, TF's one of the most banned champions around the rest of the world. We've seen a couple of bans on TF here today, but it has very rarely been seen, let alone picked, and the Chiefs are going to be the ones to lock that in first. Looking at, you know, things that TF does, it's insane for map movement, right? It's insane for early pressure. You hit level 6, you can kind of force wave control as well, just because you throw the wild cards out, you throw the Ws out, and generally you'll be fine. Yeah. So often champions that'll try and push you in, you can kind of match it. Assassins don't often just all in kill you. You can reset often, right? But you don't do nearly as much damage as other champions do. You tend to go for the rapid fire cannon build second, and you're all about hitting those cards, hitting those picks, which means that Dajun can very easily look at this and be like, that's a Vex angle, that's an Akali angle, right? Like, that's a I get to carry this game and have a great time type of angle.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. There he is on your screen right there, pondering what that champion could be for himself if he was to go for the mid lane, having been revealed already.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so they get a guarantee that their bot lane is intact. That is the Thresh and the Jinx. It's worth noting, and I'm curious if you believe the same as me. I feel like the Chiefs in their first 3 picks have locked in every iconic champion that speaks volumes to them, right? You know, you go Miru, in this case Arthur, Lee Sin to go to. You could say that tally of last year, it was just Ryze and TF. He was just absolutely smurfing on it. And I think Rage, you know, you go give him an Aphelios, and he'll 1v9.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only thing more iconic, I think, for Raze is probably Draven, right? Like a real old school pick for him that he's always been very proficient on. But Aphelios is a good pick here. I like it. They actually pick the Thresh third on the Gravitas side and choose to ban away the Nautilus. For me, that's a bit odd. Like, I do feel like you can very happily play that matchup if you were the Thresh. Not really an issue. You can flay a Nautilus out of the hook, first of all, right? Not generally happy with the lane as well, but it's more like a nothing lane, and that just means you're both going to be free scaling. But to your point, yeah, like Lee Sin with a Twisted Fate, they've got some pretty solid pick potential between them right now. They can play towards their side lanes, and I get the idea of getting rid of the Nautilus because that's free setup, right, for those 2 champions that'll be coming down there. But then they switch it up and go for the Lulu ban with it. So Gravitas really just trying to target Dragku's champ pool, and we know, Timmy, that he's got picks for days.
Oh, for sure.
No
he plays
issues.
everything.
Yeah.
He plays everything. Ever since he made that role swap a couple of years back from top lane to bot lane, he integrated a lot of those champions. I mean, the one that always springs to mind for me that I always tease him about is where's the set support? We see it every so often. A little handful sprinkling elsewhere in the world, but one day it will come back to the bot lane and we'll get to see him shine again. This is a pick that I was very curious of. He's been spamming it in solo queue. It would be the first here in the LCO. It has just been buffed. And if you won't let him protect you with a Lulu, then a TK will do the job as well.
And this could still be a support Tahm Kench. Just to throw that out there. Even without the center, Dragku's the type of person to play it.
Yep.
We'll see, just depending on what this last pick's going to be. And I think that basically all but confirms it now, right? We've got a Gwen top lane, which means Thresh is going to have a hard time into it. Jinx is going to have an extremely hard time into it as the bottom lane goes, just because of the immunity from the W. Tahm Kench is now going to be the confirmed support. And I'm very excited to see Dragu play this one because we know he's put some practice into this one over the past year plus. And he was a top laner prior to being a support, so Tahm Kench is very known to him.
Yep.
The set you asked for actually shows up on the other side.
Certainly does. It won't be in the bot lane, unfortunately, so that's a little bit sad, but it will be a champion that can certainly weather the storm that this Gwen is going to be throwing towards him. It's going to be an interesting matchup, no doubt. As you can see, Tapoon is smiling, knowing how this one could work out in his favor. I suppose Gravitas, they've thrown us that one curveball. They have given us the Kiana. I'm sure Wynot's out there watching us right now thinking, oh, okay, how are you going to play this one? But it is a champion that certainly has that playmaking potential that we just don't see all too often.
Yeah, Set's something that's starting to crop up more in support as well. Gwen top lane as a matchup for this, you mentioned it, maybe weathers the storm. I still feel like Gwen is okay with it. It really depends on how good you are with moving the W around, right? Like if that immune shroud is there to stop a haymaker, like you actually are just fine, right? That's going to be a lot of the trade ruined. Looking at how Chiefs want to play this composition out, I think it does just come back to playing with your Twisted Fate, playing to your side lanes, right? It's again, not a crazy amount of crowd control. It's not a straightforward front-to-back team composition. It's fairly flexible, fairly malleable to what is required at any given moment. And so they're probably just going to be looking for picks, looking for objectives, and looking for just solid League of Legends.
Oh, for sure. If anything, right now, this is a case of them building a composition that will punish mistakes and punish mispositioning. All the cards up their sleeve, no pun intended, for them to find those opportunities. But Gravitas has certainly said, at least the top half of this draft, we have engaged, we have angles. It's just a case of whether we can find them. If we can open up that idea, if the opportunity presents itself, or if we ourselves can create them to allow ourselves to be in a position of power. Loading into the Rift here for Game 3 of the night. It's the favourites in Chiefs. Square peg at the top of the table. 2-0 so far. Taking on a Gravitas, looking to cause an upset.
And Skimmy, if we're going to draw attention to anything for the early stage of this game, it has to be mid, right? That's where we're going to have to look first for the most variance and your best player.
Well, it should be the case. And to find out perhaps a little bit more from the coach himself, we do have Mystic on the line, the coach of Gravitas. Welcome back onto the LCO. It's been a bit of a rough start for you boys, but I will say you're starting a new bot lane today. So what can we and the fans expect to see?
Well, I think you can expect to see one of the better bot lanes in the LCO. You know, look to shake some stuff up. Maybe a little bit of newer names, but they've definitely got some potential and can make some noise. So.
Minions have spawned.
And on a slight add-on, I'd have to ask, how does it feel for the team to come into, you know, a matchup against one of the favorites here? What's the vibe like in the camp?
We're feeling confident. We're feeling really good. You know, all the boys, we were talking before. I said, listen, you know, doesn't matter who we're up against. We've all got to get. They've all got to get through us. You know, so just take it one step at a time, one game at a time. You know, and see how things pan out.
Love the attitude. Appreciate your time in the Mystic, and best of luck in this game.
Thanks, mates.
Let's see what they can do. Certainly confidence from the very get-go is what you love to hear. Certainly need that. You don't want to feel like you've been defeated from the very get-go.
Yeah, of course. And so the one thing that I want to talk about with this mid lane, Skimmy, just before anything else happens, is the choice of the Kiana mid. I feel like if I'm playing against a Twisted Fate, some of the levels that you want to be abusing, the fact that he may not be like full potential for his push, is levels 1 to 3, right? Once a TF has a point in Q, W, and E, he tends to be more stalwart in the way that he plays lane out, right? He's more resilient. He's a lot harder to push out. Kiana doesn't really exist until level 2 as a champion, and is a melee versus range matchup. So this means that Tally has prio in lane, and so that any kind of windows that exist where a TF either is just even, if not behind, is gone. And it is just a good time to be a Twisted Fate mid right now. And that's teleport with Unsealed Spellbook into Ignite. Level 3 is where kill threat obviously exists. Every Kiana matchup, we'll talk about this with certain champions all the time. Kiana is high on that list as well. It's just suddenly, because you have access to a full combo, you can make more aggressive moves.
Oh, here is one of those aggressive moves. So much so that Tally actually does show respect and flashes away. Both dangerously low, potions chugging.
Tahm Kench.
And now it's a chance for Draku to answer the call and make things happen bot lane. He flashes forward to unleash the Toad and hit the lick. But Multiple summoners being burnt in a very explosive start.
Yeah, flash for flash is definitely something you'll still take if you are the Tahm Kench, though, because whenever you have control of the bushes, you can use that W, right? You can get back into the mix, and Jinx now has to rely solely on a Lantern for disengage. Foreigner has been clawed, but can just jump to the Raptors. Also a million wards placed there, and here they go.
Oh, there's the dive once again on towards Entrust. He's looking for it. He's going to hit the stun. Not to be the case. But these trades are working out wonders here for the Chiefs bot lane.
Yeah, and the other thing worth highlighting is that mid trade. Still volatile, actually fights on.
And it's still on, isn't it? Now Tally searching for that gold card, turns his attention on towards Foreigner. The Sonic Wave, the flash, the connect! Surely he's dead! No way! And Tally can't dive! Look how low the mid jungle of Gravitas are, and they have got away with murder.
They definitely did just get away with murder. I feel like Tally and Arthur were looking for different champions in that skirmish. And unfortunately, the mixing up of their combo means it ends up under Tara Raze.
Raze. Oh my gosh, he misses the Q. He has to flash away, turns around with the Gravitum. Entrust, no.
Oh,
He's run him down. Everybody has blinking health bars. And 4 minutes in, they all want a piece of the pie.
But any team that makes the aggressive play is the team that gets punished. That's what we're taking away from this one. Topoon, just like you'd expect with the mechanics top lane, is able to utilize that Gwen W, stop any kind of haymaker from Tyron. We'll watch this mid trade again because it feels like Chiefs didn't expect Gravitas to be this aggressive. Dajung's dead. If you play for Dajung, he just dies. But they go for Foreigner. It goes under the turret. He continues to make the trade and just barely stays alive. That should have just really been an easy 1-for-0 minimum, right? Goes the other way.
And it just feels like such a rare mistake coming out of this Chiefs camp that we just do not see. A chance where you're saying, we have the confidence, we've got the composure, this is a guaranteed double kill. So they've split the focus, but unfortunately for them, it has worked so wrong against them.
Gets chased out here. For the, oh, if Dragu knew where the rest of the team was. Tahm Kench wins most support 1v1s, just to be clear.
Sure.
He is a top laner, so switching him to the support role means that he generally has a very good time biffing with other supports. And just knowing that the summoners weren't going to be available there for Entrust, I was a little bit nervous for him. Foreigner just gets spotted on a ward walking through. That's really sloppy pathing, actually, from the Diana. If you consider that Chiefs have full bot priority in the river with wards. So they're going to be vigilant of the fact that he's there, Dajung.
Well, pan your attention back to this mid lane again. They are angered, they are furious. They need this kill and they will find it. It goes into the hands of Tally. And we are still looking at a collapse potentially on the cards here for Gravitas down bot.
I have to clear vision for that to happen. I think Chiefs were just a little bit too vigilant of that one. You've got Arthur hovering mid. We already spoke about this from the champion select, Skimmy, but they are playing towards getting mid control. And then watch how that influences the rest of the map. Is that ward in turret range? Really close.
Pushing it, you'd have to... Oh, it might just be on the outskirts.
So close though.
That's insane.
Okay, I mean, Tally's got it perfect. I can't fault him. I just thought for a second I was looking mighty like it's in the tower vision. But he's 6 now, Skimmy.
Looking at the CS difference in the mid lane, it's much to your point, isn't it, right? The fact that it is a melee into range matchup. Yes, you did get that crazy showdown in the mid 2v2, but it's not going to get any easier when you do 1v1.
Well, it's a thing that we didn't speak about, right? But the trade in mid where Tally flashes away was actually favorable for him overall because he had this significant potion/health advantage, or effective health, I guess you could call it. TF holding in.
There we go, though, looking for that pick as they will have all the vision in the world. A potential pincer in this top side river as they are unsure whether to connect top with Tapoon or to go through bot to make it that 2v2 once again. In the end, it all fizzles out and that first Destiny finds nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it is just playing for jungle there, right? The Scuttle Crab belongs to Arthur. Any attempts to contest that one cops a Twisted Fate ult immediately. The positioning of that TF ult was to push him away from, like, I guess, flashing out over the Herald wall, but he doesn't have flash. So the idea is still there, and Chiefs still get the Scuttle Crab that they're after, but nothing more beyond that. And top lane, low-key, just all-inning.
Oh, okay, there's the flash suplex. Tyron trying to do whatever he can underneath turret!
He's on the board!
He's done enough.
He's on the board!
Ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go, Tyron!
Tyron has taken down the kill onto Tapoon, but he's going to lose a big wave. That's the price.
He still loses late, but he's on the board. That is a monster wave. I mean, it was well played from him, right? The flash, the ultimate locks him under turret. Set is one of the hardest champions to be aggressive into, and Topoon definitely overexerts himself in the attempt, but I mean, he knew he was going to have lethal there, and any kind of even trade, if it's a kill for kill, is still winning for Topoon. But can't fault him for the play, can only celebrate that Tyrant gets himself a KP, he's on the board, but it is still now a flashless set into a TF and a Lee Sin that can be super active.
Has always been, though, one of those champions that is certainly quite adept at handling those 1v2s, especially with the grit into Haymaker. So we'll have to see how Tyron can try and navigate that potential source of weakness.
Okay, and Trust is split topside, and it means that Herald is going to be probably contested by Gravitas.
Yeah.
Got to face check wards, and he's by himself, though. Isn't...
But this just seems like classic Chiefs. If it's not Topoon getting turret plates, it's Raze instead. And depending on what Raze has, does he have the chakrams? He's just going to absolutely rinse through these plates.
Yeah, that's it, right? You're willing to sacrifice objectives knowing that you're going to get money from it. Tyron, no teleport, no access to this Herald play. If it happens, it's still just a 4v4 because the Tahm Kench is coming up. And Arthur just resets the Herald. So this 8-minute play, which is generally about, oh, that's tragic. Generally the 8-minute flip, right? If you bring the Jinx with the Thresh, it's about getting Herald straight away because you lose a bit of bot plating in tempo, but you gain it back then some, right? Because you have numbers on that Herald side of the map. The fact that the Chiefs were doing it, the fact that Chiefs reset it and plates were already secured bottom, means that the tempo is really slow here by Gravitas. And Chiefs are still hunting.
Well, it's a weird state of affairs, but it has netted Gravitas the very first Herald of the game. In goes the Moonfall on towards 2. The kick away to try and deny the fight. Gwen is immune, but for not much longer. Arthur falls on down, assassinated by Dejong on this Kiana. And they are looking for that second sniff of blood. There it is. It's a double kill. A 4-man collapse onto a lonesome TF. A Herald instantly summoned. Forget value. We just want pressure.
Valley's making the one play that he has, which is try and kill Piglet, try and disengage by running away from the turret. Knows the charge is going to come through. Dajong still has the ult in hand, I believe, so if he's able to close the distance and get onto him, he's dead. But it's boots, 2 for Tally and a flash. He could just be out. He's going to have to run the long way for this, though.
It's a very long ask. Another gold card,
maybe
prepped and primed.
Oh.
A flash across, instant gold card. Is he just going to get whittled down? Is Arthur here? Oh, so close. Saving Private Ryan was nearly on the cards there.
I mean, it was a miracle journey, Skibby, but look at the cost. Time spent is still time wasted, but Gravitas get the kills. Chiefs choosing to make that play at the Herald was really bad. Well, watch what happens bottom here, because Tyrant is obviously being engaged on by Draku, by Raze, just steps forwards a little bit too far and is the easiest punish you'll ever find if you're the Chiefs. The bigger issue is knowing that Tahm Kench is bot side, actively choosing to face check the Gravitas roster that wants you to do that. I mean, that's not a good call, right? You're being cheeky, you're trying to maybe steal away the Herald, you're looking for maybe a pick angle. But it was an insane flay from Entrust, I believe, that sets up Foreigners engage. And, I mean, you can't make those mistakes against any team in League of Legends, and Chiefs have done it.
Does beg the question whether there is a degree of overconfidence. Perhaps not enough respect shown towards their opponents because, funnily enough, it's actually Gravitas that do have the kill lead. A 2k lead in terms of gold does go the way of the Chiefs. And this time the Chakrams are in the possession of Razors of Philios, so that's the second turret going down as quickly as you like. It seems to really be the go-to early game strat here for the Chiefs. Claim turrets nice and early, then the map belongs to you. Vision control becomes that much easier. And then come mid to late, those picks. Nowhere is really safe on the map, but this early game has been shaky to say the least.
Yeah, but again, listen, we're going to nitpick Chiefs whenever they make mistakes. They're still going to be 3,000 gold ahead. They're still going to have control over Summoner's Rift. They're still going to make first move to a lot of different plays. They have an insanely fed AD carry with such a large item gap just because of the play that Gravitas chose to make, right? Flipping the top side, all that time wasted is time that Raze gets 30 CS as a lead or 20 CS as a lead, an entire turret as a lead. Look at his gold value right now. Like, that is unfair for anyone that has to go against this Aphelios. You hit that second item spike, he's already got 1.5 items at 12 minutes, 13 minutes.
He is the gold lead.
Yeah.
It really is the Rays show, like it has been so many times in years gone by.
Foreigner walking in here, I wasn't sure of the avenue that he walked in, but they haven't cleared the ward sitting right there in the river. Like, they know. They know you're there.
Is it on? Hook goes out, doesn't connect. The Flater disengaged, the Moonlight Vigil on towards 2. Lock them in place with the Gravitum, they need to work to clear out the wave. And just warning shots more so than anything. You will not find your first turret, not yet.
Yeah, and they're going to control the turret, which is the biggest win, right? That was meant to be a turret trade in the end. It was meant to go to Piglet, but they contest, they hold, they get their mythics onto their Gwen. Nothing else is getting punished from this one. We do still have a Kiana that can have a massive teamfight impact. We do still have a Diana that can do the same thing. Gravitas composition across the board. A lot of potential. Diana's 202, right? So an extreme amount of potential coming out of the jungle role. But the Chiefs are just going to try and play you for the full, right? They've got the Lee Sin kick, they've got the Twisted Fate mobility, Gwen's untargetability. Palm Kench with the Devour now that he's post-ultimate levels. Going to try and weather that. It's very similar to that first, that Peace game, Gimme. They're going to match you, except this time they do have magic damage.
They do. Itemization looking a little bit nicer this time. They are on the invade. Sweeper goes out. Find no vision to clear. Gravitas don't know. Staggered recalls. Nobody gets punished for it.
Mid lane outer turret is the obvious course of action here for the Chiefs. It'd be weird to see them go anywhere else. Inner turrets with heralds definitely can be looked at, so in 45 seconds the play could be on around there, but Chiefs, you would expect topside vision control, and that is exactly what they've got right now. If you look at the red buff quadrant of Gravitas, they've already snuck 2 deep wards behind them. Really easy to play with those fantastic wards placed.
Big differences as to where the attention is right now. You can see that Gravitas looking to wrestle back control of where the vision was just placed by the Chiefs. They're playing topside. Tally is keeping them honest. He's hovering between bot and mid with the constant threat of being enraged to utilize this Destiny. There is the follow-up TP from Tyrant if the fight does break out.
This is a free angle.
But this could be the collapse, and that could be the TP. The zap connects. Tyrant surely is the biggest suplex you've ever seen. He cancels out the dive, and the Devour was there. The Flay to bring them back, and in the Moonfall afterwards, the Wombo that you really thought was coming does nothing. It tickles the Chiefs, and now it's their time to shine as they turn back with a vengeance. And the Flamethrower Moonlight, it drops them all to half, and it shows them that's the kind of damage you wish you had.
Dajong chooses to stay in the bush with that control ward. He's basically surrounded by 5 people. Lantern, you'd expect, is his way out if he made a mistake there. Will be able to hold on. He was a big part of the damage that was missing Skimmy. That is a full Kiana combo that goes awry. Nice flank, honestly. Great use of their own vision control ward on the top side of mid, the top runes clearing now. And an easy pathway from the Raptors, right, with control ward vision all the way to the mid lane. And it was the Chiefs overextended. You feel safe, because you've got a Tahm Kench that can devour you, can jump away with the bush control, but when you've got a set flank, suddenly it's not as simple. But unfortunately the damage, like you mentioned, just not there.
It was just such a beautiful play, a proactive play more so than anything from Gravitas to spot the opportunity and to go for it. Dragon is on the cards, the second one of the game. Tyrant jumps in alone, 1v4 is the set. You're tanky, but not that tanky. He will fall on down as the shield expires.
This is a Kiana angle.
And now Gravitas have to force a fight, 5v4. In they go, supreme display of talent. Wasn't enough.
Jeez, I mean, that was scary for a second. If the Kiana finds the big ult there, that was a moment, but the vigilance from Arthur, always aware, always hunting. Finds Dajung, stops the combo, actually forces him to disengage as well because they win that trade. Drake's free, and it's free for Lee Sin to do solo, which means the Herald trade is not free, and you can see that the Chiefs are able to deter them, to push them back. An unfortunate ward there for Dragku's sweeper, but a great ward from Gravitas doesn't get cleared.
And that hurts, doesn't it? You lose the fight, you can't take the Drake, you can't even trade it for the Herald as well. And that gold lead that we mentioned only minutes prior is going to continue to build at a very steady pace. Chiefs have been one of the teams post 15 minutes to really run the map, and they're doing it once again.
Yeah, I think Tyrant thinks he has an angle here, but he doesn't have his ultimate. He doesn't have his flash until the very end of disengage, right? Because there's no way to flash out someone towards your team. There's no follow-up from the team as well. They're too busy disengaging to throw you a lantern. So just a bit of miscommunication, perhaps a misunderstanding of the circumstances there. It looks like Tally's overexerting himself. I get the top laner angle, but speaking of Tally.
Oh, two men, Everfrost, they lock them in early. Flay doesn't connect. Oh, it's a bit of a weird interaction, isn't it? A death sentence into a moonfall. You will die. You have been sentenced. And that will be the Chiefs falling victim to their own demise.
Tally 100% chose to die there, though. That's just not an angle. The thing with Twisted Fate Ultimate is that you can see everyone before you commit. So he had all the information, he saw a combo, and the rest of the Chiefs, I guess, just not there in time to really follow that one up. Means they get the pick onto the mid laner of Chiefs. Flash in hand, by the way. I think he might have just been CC comboed into the hook. Or did he not have the flash cycled on his unsealed spell book? Hard to say.
Whatever it was an avenue, an angle that might be better suited for solo queue. Nonetheless, happy days to Gravitas. They find that kill. They actually do get the Herald. So map pressure for them to find. They'll need it because Tapoon really is being a thorn in their backside. Here is the engage, the 1v3. You try and hit the Haymaker, but a Devour says no. He dies mid-animation, flying into the sky, only to crash on down.
That is an odd interaction. If ever I've seen one, but they find the pick, they get what they're after. And Tyrant unfortunately now finds himself 1-4. The set being behind means it is very dire straits for Gravitas' top side of the map. And we have to take note, once again in gold gaps, Ray's quietly scaling out of control. We talk about Aphelios as a scaling carry, as Tally will be fine with the Everfrost. Raze is probably one item away from just 1v9ing. So we may look at a 2,000 gold gap and say that's pretty good, honestly, and it is. It's great for Gravitas. Just thinking about their first week compared to now, this is a marked improvement. Maybe Piglet and Entrust are the secret sauce. But you are against the Chiefs, and they are still very much in control.
And no one was more critical of themselves than Raze of last week, feeling like he was a bit of an invisible player, his own words. In a team like this, where you have that many threats, he doesn't necessarily need to always be on his A game. The rest of the team certainly did that for him in week number 1, but it's all about him to open up week 2. And it's now about Tally as they collapse on top lane. And a side laning Kiana just has no chance to party.
Yeah, the Kiana on the side lane has to be on the protected side of the map, right? So you place him on Baron side where Gravitas have their Thresh, they have their Diana playing in the red buff quadrant of the map to protect, but Twisted Fate doesn't care about the rules. He's able to just use his ultimate and very easily get to the fight or the play, or he's able to set it up for his team with the crazy amount of crowd control that he's able to layer together with the Everfrost. Lee Sin obviously very good at navigating distances with a Tahm-Kench there as well. So if that's the state of your jungle control, your vision control, Chiefs are going to just really start to run away with it.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Well, all the outer fortifications have now fallen here. 22 minutes in. The side lanes have been attacked, and they have been crippled. They are fairly exposed, and I just don't see enough vision being available for Gravitas to protect every angle. Sure, the Chemtech Drake is gone, but perhaps now you wish that was there to make it a little bit spookier to go into the night and try and find those picks in the side.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a side lane, what choices do you have, right, Skimmy? Strategically, you just have to 5v5. It's tough to be in the side lane. He's got so much damage, Dajung, but he wants to really be in the mix when the fights happen. So I think he'll be happy that there is an objective in 15 seconds. There is a reason to be grouped. There's no risk of being in a side lane. Gravitas, you feel like 5,000 down, this is the moment that you really want to find a positive play. Just keep in mind that at this point in the game, Raze does have a stopwatch though, Skimmy. So if Foreigner doesn't notice that and tries to overforce onto just an Aphelios, things could go awry very quickly. Could just be a big bait.
Third dragon of the game. Both teams tied at 1 apiece so far. Infernal Soul is up for grabs. Plenty of damage stacking.
Position's
Both
good.
teams to achieve.
Piglet wants mid-wave control, which is very valid. Chiefs have made the decision to try and hit this as fast as possible. TFL sees the flank, Skimmy. But Gravitas' positioning is good.
Look at Tapoon though. He's on the angle as well. Is this going to become a 50-50 flip? The Drake is held in suspension down to 2k. It's going to get reset. Out goes the fight. And both of the Eddie carries explode into life. Raze gets a double. Now Tapoon finds another. And they take down as 3 members as easy as you like. Yes, Arthur's gone. The smite doesn't exist. Gravitas claim the Drake. But Chiefs might just claim the team fight. It's going to be long. But you can't escape a Tom Kench. No angle is safe. Will Tapoon die for this one? He's immune, but you're inside the inner circle. That foreigner is hunting, praying, trying. But try as he might, he will fall on down, and that is the ace.
I mean, you try and fight your way out if you're Foreigner, if you're Dajung. They don't go together, but at the same time, Gwen is one hell of a specimen of a champion. And it's just untargetable and forces you to melee range. And a 2-item Gwen does enjoy a melee range biff. Now they teleport over to the Baron. We'll see this again. Who is protecting Piglet? You're the Jinx. You're wanting those resets. You're wanting to get excited. You want to be protected. No one is protecting the Jinx. Tyron comes in late, doesn't ult the Gwen away. That is a viable strategy. Completely gone. Team fight lost, right? That is it, right? You have a decent angle for Dajung. You have your moment for Foreigner, perhaps, but no one's protecting Piglet. There is no winning in that team fight. Gwen's a nightmare. Baron is theirs.
It feels like that really was the moment as the Herald Summon in mid was when there was a 5k deficit. Now that's really exploded, double just like that, 10k. They've got a Baron, and having put in all that early game work to attack those side lanes, surely we're looking at this 2-minute window, fighting some base pressure.
Just a quick stock take here of summoners that were used by Gravitas. Piglet actually managed to keep both of them, and Tyron still has his flash, so there is angle for the coming Baron duration. I don't know how easy it would be to actually find vision control to set up for some kind of flank, and right now, Chiefs with a Twisted Fate that has easily gotten through the early game and is very strong, very farm, particularly with that passive, right? Extra gold generation for every last hit. Super far ahead is mid.
It's a lot of damage right there. It's not the Graviton, but the Abyssal Dive goes out, splits the fight in half. Foreigner instantly gone, down for 40. And doesn't get any easier in this bot lane too. Tyron trying to stem the aggressiveness that this Gwen is throwing his way, but he can't deal with it. They cannot deal with it right now. 2 lanes being attacked, a 3-2 split. And these turrets are gone, and this base, it's in shambles.
Yeah, Tally just ults to bottom lane to continue the push. The way that we're going, 20 seconds on Foreigner, makes you feel like they're going to keep going forwards.
Looks to be the case right there. The hook goes out, he dies during the animation. Now looking for a kill on towards Tyron. Exploded! A double kill for Tapoon. 26 minutes in, it really has been a bit of a speed run here to open up our start for week 2 of the LCO. But Chiefs aren't messing around. They had their fun, but it's all the same in the end. It's 3-0 on the night.
And an easy win for Chiefs in the end, though it was a triple kill for Foreigner, though it was almost a miracle-based defense. They're not going to do enough. And Chiefs will still get a clean win in the end. A couple of shaky moments, Gimme, I think it's fair to say. Not perfect League of Legends, but Chiefs don't need to bring their S game, right? They don't need to be absolutely perfect to take down Gravitas right now. They are still definitely the super team, and I think we just look at Raze and say he's done all the work, he was given all the time and the resources to get the gold lead, and he used it perfectly to get the dub, and that's all you're after.
Certainly. I mean, Chiefs, business as usual. Same outcome, but just a different variation of how they can achieve that end goal. I was very impressed, though, by Gravitas. The impression it's left on me is that this is a different bot lane, whether or not that is the biggest talking point or if it's just a case of them as a collective. But they showed aggression, they took risks, they had ideas, and going from the draft into the gameplay, it was a marked improvement from week 1.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that they've very easily spotted in the VODs for them as well, Skimmy, which is a positive, right? Like they're the actual gank pathing setup, the vision and the way they use it to walk to lanes if they're looking to make plays, Foreigner wasted a lot of time. And it's very easy to read your opponent if he walks over a ward to go to a lane, and it's an easily avoided ward as well. So little things like that can start to add up and really help Gravitas, and a much improved game from them. Definitely commend them for that improvement. Tyrants on the board, bot lane I think was good.
Yeah, they were certainly good. And Mac, you were this close to being good as well. This close! I tell you what, in the first 15 minutes, you might have been going, okay, I see something that others may not, but ultimately Chiefs are a little bit too good in the end.
Look, I think you guys were lucky that you couldn't hear me, because I was popping off. I was like, yes! Oh, what's going on here? Look, this fight, I was screaming. I was having so much fun thinking, how the hell has that happened? I didn't actually know who died right there, because it was just like all the health bars piled on top of one another. Then all of a sudden it's like, Gravitas first blood? What? Crazy game. And look, I need to give a huge props to Gravitas for having the confidence to go face to face with Chiefs. They weren't allowing Chiefs to play their game, weren't allowing Chiefs to disrespect them. But unfortunately, the issue was they got a little bit too hungry at points and put a foot wrong here or there. And also Raze, you guys mentioned it, don't want to harp on too much about it. The man was an issue. He had so much money, he was too damn strong, and he's a very skilled individual, so he was always right place, right time, just making bank and getting that W. After this as well, look, you could see they really wanted to get to Poon, and then it just turned into an overextension. I thought they were out. I thought they were about to get out scot-free. They had the movement to do it. But from there, free Baron for Chiefs after the ace, and it was just game, set, match, and Chiefs are still undefeated, Skinny.
Yeah, still undefeated. And, I mean, you don't want to take anything away from Gravitas. They certainly tested the Chiefs at times. You saw it in a lot of those close encounters, the 1%ers multiple times throughout this game. In fact, it wasn't all about that early game craziness in the mid lane, but I think they'll be happy ultimately. I know it's going to seem sore at the moment, but to go up against one of the favorites and to give them a little bit of a test is, as I say, a big marked improvement. But for Chiefs, you know, business as usual for them. They keep the perfect split so far. They get to show us that they can flex this composition around. They can bring in some new picks when given a chance and showcase that, you know, TF is still as good as ever, that this Tahm Kench will be a problem, and that supports, whilst it has been so heavily dominated by the likes of Fresh, Nautilus, and Leona, this Tahm Kench is coming back into the fold of things, and teams need to be prepared.
Yeah, and looking at the stats here as well, that gold diff was going to be about 2,000 different, but in that last fight, Foreigner did manage to earn himself 2,000 gold. Unfortunately, didn't really have much time to use it because that was game, set, and match. All things said and done, it was an interesting one. I just want to quickly jump back as well. There was a point at the 16-minute mark, I wrote it down. Raze tanked 4, maybe 5 members of Gravitas to the face, and he didn't fall down. That was when he was like almost under tower, and Grav jumped out of the bush. Was that just mis-execution, or is Raze a machine, Rusty?
I mean, Raze labeled himself the perfect player for a reason, Mac. He's definitely a machine. And you called him an issue before. I actually just want to bring up Dragku real quick, because I feel like we didn't talk about it too much, but that Tahm Kench, Dragku is an issue, right? Like he had a very good game. He protected him. The shield bust for Tahm Kench means that when Raze gets spat back out, he has like a 700 shield. It's a double health bar for an AD carry. It's disgusting. So Dragku, definitely higher on that list as well than we gave him enough credit for during the game. He's an issue.
Yeah, we definitely didn't discuss him. But someone that does love discussions is Kitty. So let's bring her back into the conversation. Kitty, what are your thoughts on that game?
So obviously I didn't expect Gravitas to have such a strong early game, especially into the Chiefs. But I think obviously Raze was the main carry of that game, but Dragku did also have like a hidden sort of carry thing going on with the Tahm Kench protecting the ADC. And that's what I've got, the protector of Raze waiting on the side to be interviewed. Hey Dragku, so congrats on your win. Obviously you guys did have a rough early game, and from what I've been seeing from the past 3 games of Chiefs, it kind of reminds me of 2020 Chiefs, where they lose early game, but there's always like this fight where the tides turn and Chiefs always end up winning somehow. So Dragku, tell me what your mind was thinking when topside lost that Herald fight.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, even though we lost like topside, I knew me and Quinn could carry it because we were actually like destroying bot. I'm not sure if like it was shown on cams, but we always had move and they were always down like summoners. And I think there was just a miscommunication because we said that we were gonna trade for bot plates, but we fought 3v4 instead top. And yeah, I just thought that we were gonna win the whole time anyways.
It's always nice to be confident, and it is our first time seeing a Tahm Kench support in the new patch. What's different about the new Tahm Kench?
I think it's the exact same as last year's one when they changed his ulti to be the E. I think now it's definitely more strong because he gains more movement speed as you eat now. So yeah, I think that's the main change, especially when Raze always gets caught. So you know it's really good to have a Tahm Kench for someone like Raze noob.
Yeah, and luckily you guys had Raze eating 10 plays from bot lane and top lane. What's it like playing with such a stable ADC?
It's definitely a good feeling. Quinn's teaching me a lot of new things that he probably learned from NA. So I guess I'm really appreciative that I'm able to play with him. But as you can see that game, don't give him play of the game. I kind of saved his ass like 10 times, so better give it to me. So.
Hear that, guys? Give it to Draku. Raze was just, you know, getting caught all the time, and Draku was just trying to save his ass, apparently. So, well, thank you for the interview, Draku, and good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Always good to hear
Oh,
from
no.
the big man. What's oh no?
Oh no.
What?
I think I know what's going to happen with his MVP, and he's not going to be happy.
Yeah,
He's not
think,
going to be happy.
I think everyone knows what's going to happen
Uh-oh.
with the MVP. And look, you ask and you don't receive Draku. Very unfortunate for you because you're going to have to hear from Raze all week talking about how he was the MVP. Look at me. I did so good. And you just have to sit in the shadows and think, you know what? Let him have his glory. Because he is going to be a key piece of the puzzle going forward. Let him have his moment. And Skimmy, tell me why he deserves the moment.
Well, he deserves it because he was popping off. I think the one moment that really stuck out for me was the fact that when Rusty was like, hey, look, he's got a stopwatch now. This guy's going to be an absolute menace if he can try and micro this one beautifully. The fight takes place, literally one devour from Draku, and it's over. He's got every summoner. He's still got that stopwatch. He's untouched. He's a menace. So those two in tandem were just absolute beast moding it. And it's just, yeah, testament once again to sort of what we're saying about the Chiefs. They can have a game where Tapoon is just Goomba stomping. They can have it be a Raze. They can have Tally say, maybe I'll be the one that has the fun. Maybe a little bit too much fun that game, but I'm sure, I'm sure he'll have his moment.
He will have his moment eventually. Now, I actually just got told if you want a couple of blessings, if you want to be blessed with post coming to your door, post not going to the post office, not getting those letters saying, hey, come to the post office and pick up your parcel. If you type !mail in chat, you will receive that blessing. And, you know, follow the link, go give us all your details, and you will never, ever, ever miss a giveaway or competition from LCO as well. So you can go on the mailing list. That's essentially where I'm going with this one. But also, I hope you never miss out on those packages. Mine gets sent to the post office all the time, and it's damn infuriating. Something else that's damn infuriating is not having enough time to talk because we got to get to another break before jumping into the final game of the day. Of course, fan favourites, Pensinet, they're going to be going up against Mammoth. Who's going to take the cake in this one? Find out after this.
Yeah, and the other thing worth highlighting is that mid-trade, still volatile, actually fights on.
And it's still on, isn't it? Now Tally searching for that gold card, turns his attention on towards Foreigner. The Sonic Wave, the flash to connect! Surely he's dead! No way! And Tally can't dive! Good Tapoon though. He's on the angle as well. Is this just going to become a 50-50 flip? The Drake is held in suspension down to 2k. It's going to get reset. Out goes the fight. And both the Eddie carries explode into life. Raze gets a double. Now Tapoon finds another. But you can't escape a Tahm Kench.